Okay, so a very good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to Mr. Yan's P4 Math online lesson on a Saturday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. All right. So I notice maybe some of you are new to this GenieClass, or it's the first time that you are seeing me. So let me just introduce myself again. So I am Mr. Yan, Y-E-N. All right. Yen as in, the currency of Japan. Right? For those who love traveling, you should know the currencies, okay? For today, right, this will be the overview of what we're going to learn today. So we're going to touch on factors and multiples today. Now, to my P4 students, I'm sure this will be something new, right? This is a brand new topic in your P4 syllabus that you have not encountered before last year in P3. Then, of course, for those who are P5s already in my class, right, you sure know this concept, right? You should be able to excel in this topic, okay? Factors and multiples. And of course, those who have attended my Monday class 5 days ago, or you have attended Teacher Tom's class yesterday, I'm sure you also know what factors and multiples are, okay? But for those who have not learned about factors and multiples before, don't worry. I'll cover that today slowly, okay? Okay, so let's see what factors are. But before that, let's do a recap on long division, right? Because for today's lesson on finding factors, you will need to perform long division, right? Because, in P4, you're not allowed to use calculators. So a lot of times you have to do your manual working on a piece of paper, okay? Okay, so let's see how we perform long division. This is just a recap. I'm sure you guys know, right? But if you do not know, right, this is a recap, okay? So to do long division, let's first put 10 divided by 2. So we first take a look at the number 1, okay, on the extreme left of the number 10. So you know that 1 is smaller than 5. Wait, what am I talking about? 1 is smaller than 2. So 1 is not divisible by 2. So take note, when you do 1 divided by 2, you need to first put down 0 in the quotient here first, right? So I notice a lot of students, when they are performing long division like this, they might forget about the digit 0 here. And instead, they put the answer on this place value at the top, right? So make sure you put a 0 here first, because 1 divided by 2, because 1 is smaller than 2, we will put a 0 here first. Then, of course, the next step to performing long division is to do the multiplication, right? So 0 multiplied by 2 would give me 0. Okay, so I'll put it under the number 1. Then I do the subtraction. 1 subtract 0, we get 1. All right, then I bring down the next digit, which is 0. So now I have 10. So 10 divided by 2 will give me 5. Okay, then multiply 5 times 2 would give me 10. And then I do a subtraction, I get 0. So I have no remainder when I perform 10 divided by 2. Okay, so the answer to 10 divided by 2 when I perform long division is 5. Now, why is this related to factors? Let's take a look at a scenario. Who do we have here? All right, so we have a boy, actually a boy, a man, right? Because he is a fruit seller. So what does he have? He has 10 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, there are 10 apples. And what is this fruit seller going to do with those apples here? He wants to put these apples into certain baskets, right? So you want to group them into baskets of 2 apples each. So he first have the first basket. He put the first 2 apples into the first basket. All right. Then following which, the second basket with another 2 more apples, the third basket, the fourth basket, and finally the 5th basket. So altogether, this fruit seller has 5 baskets of 2 apples each, which is just what we have done just now, right? 10 divided by 2, we have 5. All right, so therefore there are 5 baskets of 2 apples each. Okay, so coming back to this concept on factors, but before that, let me just bring up whatever we have covered just now about 10 divided by 2 and the long division of it. Okay, the screen is faster than me, is it? Okay. All right, so let's have the slides running first. Okay. Okay, so factors. What are factors? So since we see that 10 can be divided by 2 exactly, can you see that there's no remainder when 10 is divided by 2, and we have 5 as the quotient. So therefore, we say that 2 is a factor of 10. So here we see this word factor. Okay. factor. 2 is a factor of 10. Now, why do we call 2 a factor of 10? This is because we can see that 10 can be divided by 2 without remainder. All right, so a factor of 10 has to be a number that divides 10 without any remainder. All right, so, oh, I need to switch on live stream. I thought it is auto right now. Okay, let me just set up the live stream first. Okay, just give me a few seconds while I set up the live stream on Twitch. Okay, but you understand what factors here now mean from the example here that 2 is a factor of 10 because 2 can divide 10 exactly without any remainder. Okay, so factor is a number that can divide another number exactly without a remainder. Okay, so what other numbers can also be a factor of 10? Can you tell me? Also from this long division, can you see that? Right, so we can also say that 10 divided by 5, we get 2 without any remainder as well. So we can also say that 5 is a factor of 10. So 2 and 5 being factors of 10, we can therefore say that the factors are the divisors as well as the quotients. Okay, let me repeat. The factors are your divisors and your quotients. What are divisors? What are quotients? Okay, just a refresher again. This number 2, which you divide 10 by, is your divisor. All right. And the answer which we get from the division of 10 by 2, in this case 5, is what we call your quotient. All right. So 2 and 5 are both factors of 10 because 10 can be divided by 2, 10 can be divided by 5 without any remainder. Okay. So, yeah. So let me just let the slide run. Okay, so we know that, yeah, 5 multiplied by 2 gives me 10. So therefore, 10 can be divided by 5. 10 can be divided by 2 without any remainder. Okay, so some of your classmates like Ian, Jane, has already given me other factors of 10. Very good, you guys think ahead of what I'm going to say actually. Indeed, if you think, what other numbers can also divide 10 exactly without any remainder? So we have Nathaniel, we have Jane, and we have a lot of you that tells me 10. Yes, right? Because we know that 10 divided by 10 gives me 1 as the quotient without any remainder as well. So 10, which is your divisor in this case, is a factor of 10 as well. And yes, Zishan, thank you. Gavin as well, thank you. All right, 10 divided by 1, right? 1 is also a factor of 10, right? Because when we take 10 divided by 1, we get 10 without any remainder as well. So 1 here, which is your divisor, is also a factor. So altogether, your factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, as well as 10. These are the 4 digits, 1, 2, 5, and 10, that can divide 10 exactly without any remainder. Okay, now you notice something very interesting here. Do you notice that 1 and the number itself will always be a factor? Right? So let's say if I say factors of 9, right? If I say factors of 9, 1 will be a factor of 9 as well. 9 will be a factor of 9 because we know that a number can always be divided by 1. A number can always be divided by itself, and you will not get any remainder. So 1 and itself will always be a factor. Okay, let me just write down here. 1 and itself will always be a factor, right? Because this number or numbers can divide 10 exactly without any remainder, always. Okay, now for those who are still a little bit confused what factors are, let's take a look at an example. Okay, then we'll try this out together. So this can be a possible question asked in your assessment, in your weighted assessment, in your exam, right? On listing factors of 24. So what does this question actually requires us to do? When they say list all the factors of 24, it means that I want to find all the numbers that can divide 24 exactly without remainder. Okay, remember what factors represent? Factors are the numbers that can divide 24 exactly without any remainder. So how do we present the workings, right? Because you know in exams, your teachers always look out for workings. They will award you marks for writing the workings. So how do we present the workings, right? So what I usually will do is this way. Okay, so we start off with, remember I said 1 and itself are always the factors of the number because they can divide the number exactly without any remainder. So I can always put down this first. I know that 1 times 24 gives me 24. So 24 can be divided by 1 exactly without a remainder. 24 can also divide 24 exactly without a remainder. So what do I do next? Have I finished listing out all the factors? No. We can always think of the next largest number after 1. So I know that the next number after 1 is 2. Do you think 24 is divisible by 2? Is 24 divisible by 2? Yes, thank you, Zishan. Yes, thank you, Crystal, and Nathaniel and Leah. Good, Melody as well. Indeed, 24 is divisible by 2. So 2 is a factor of 24 as well. But in your multiplication table, do you know what 2 multiplied by would give us 24? Yes, 12. Yes, Jazzle. 2 multiplied by 12 would give me 24. So both 2 and 12 are factors of 24, right? Because 24 divided by 2 would give me a quotient with no remainder. 24 divided by 12 also gives me a quotient without any remainder. So 2 and 12 are both factors of 24 as well. Now, have we listed out everything? Let's think again. The next number after 2, we have 3. Now, is 24 divisible by 3? Think of your multiplication table of 3, right? We know that 24 is divisible by 3, and in your multiplication table of 3, I know that 3 multiplied by 8 gives me 24. All right, so therefore, we can say that 24 divided by 3 gives us a quotient with no remainder. 24 divided by 8 also gives us a quotient with no remainder. So 3 and 8 are also factors of 24. Are we done? No, we are not done. Why? Because if we go down the list again, the next number after 3 is 4. Is 24 divisible by 4? Yes, very good. Very good, Ethan. Very good, Nyanan. Good. 24 is divisible by 4. And 4 multiplied by what gives us 24? 4 multiplied by 6 gives us 24. So 24 divided by 4 or 24 divided by 6 will give us a quotient with no remainder as well. So 4 and 6 are both factors of 24. How about 5? Is 5 a factor of 24? Very good, right? You should know your divisibility rule, or you know your multiplication table of 5, right? Numbers that are divisible by 5 will always end with either a 5 or ends with 0. But 24 doesn't end with 5, neither does it end with 0. So 24 is not divisible by 5. How about 6? Is 24 divisible by 6? Yes, right? 24 is divisible by 6. And I know 6 times 4 gives us 24. But do you notice 6 is already repeated? So when you notice that the number has repeated itself already in the list, then this is the time we know we can stop listing. I don't have to keep going on and on and on and think, have I done listing out everything? Right? So this is the trick. When you start to see numbers repeating itself already, right? I see 6. Oh, there's already repeated over here. Then that is when we will stop the listing and we are done with all the factors of 24. So then your answer in this case All right, how do you present your answer? You can say that the factors of 24 are basically all these numbers over here. This, and this. And when we present our answer, take note, we usually will present the factors from the smallest to the largest. Okay, so in other words, I will put down 1 first, followed by 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and finally 24. Okay, so these 8 numbers here are your factors of 24 because these 8 numbers can divide 24 exactly without any remainder. Okay, so this is what factors mean. Bubble question number 1. Now, which of the following is a factor of 84? Do you know how to find it? So again, think of what factors mean. Factors are numbers that divide exactly without remainder. Okay, so this number must be able to divide 84 exactly, and you do not get any remainder. So yes, Winston, very good trick, very good tip there, right? So one of your classmates say, we just take 84 and we divide by each of the option, and we see whether there are any remainders or not. So that's why I say you need your paper, right, and your pen or your pencil, right? So now you start to do your division. Can 84 be divided by 5? Can 84 be divided by 7, 8, or 9? Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute, and your time begins now. Work on your division, right? You take 84 divided by 5, you take 84 divided by 7, 84 divided by 8, and finally 84 divided by 9. But I'm sure you don't have to do all of them. You can already find the answer. Okay, okay, last 2 seconds, 1, and time's up. Let me take a look. Ooh, excellent, excellent, right? I have a great bunch of you that got the correct answer. Okay, now let's take a look at the first one. 5. Is 5 a factor of 84? Can 84 be divided by 5 exactly without a remainder? Now again, remember, any number that ends with 5 or 0, then they are divisible by 5. But 84 doesn't end with a 5, neither would it end with a 0. So therefore, 84 definitely is not a fact. 84 definitely cannot be divided by 5 exactly. So I don't even need to do this. I straight away can cross it out. Okay, so this is what I meant by the divisibility rule. If you know, let's say, oh, what numbers are divisible by 5? Then you can easily find the answer. Or what numbers are divisible by 2? Easily you can find out. Okay, now what about the next one? 84 divided by 7. Now let's do the long division. All right, so 8, start with 8 first. 8 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract, remainder is 1. Bring down 4. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And yes, 0, no remainder. So therefore, 7 is a factor of 84. So you can see here, I can get my answer straight away without even have to work out what is 84 divided by 8 or 84 divided by 9. But if you're curious, right, if you're curious, 84 divided by 8 is actually 10 remainder 4, right? There's a remainder. Similarly, 84 divided by 9 is 9 remainder 3, right? Also, there's a remainder. Okay, so therefore 8 and 9 are not factors of 84. Okay, all right, let's go on to your next bubble question. Are you guys ready? Now, question 2 says, find the product of all the factors of 15. All right, so what does this question actually requires us to do? Now, there are 2 parts to this. First, what are the factors of 15? What are all the factors of 15? Second is this keyword here, product. What does product mean? Can you all tell me in the chat? What is product? Yes, Allison, very good. And Nelia N as well, very good. And a lot of you, good job. Product means to multiply, or in other words, times. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is to find out what are all the factors of 15 first. Once you have gotten all the factors of 15, then we are going to multiply them together. All right? So do you all think you can work on this yourself? This one only 1 minute left. Is there enough time for you all to work out the factors and to multiply them? So you have 24, 45, 75, and 225. Okay, I see a lot of you say no, not enough time. Okay, I haven't launched the bubble question yet, so I let you all have some time first to figure out what are the factors of 15. Find out what are the factors of 15. Like what I did here, remember? I give you a hint. Remember I said 1 and itself will always be the factors of the number, right? Because 15 divided by 1, 15 divided by 15 will always give you a quotient with no remainder. But what else? What else? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to launch the bubble question right now. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, good luck to everyone. Then once you have gotten all the factors, okay, once you have gotten all the factors, then you're going to multiply them together. Okay, that's what I meant by product. And this is your answer. Now, first, let's figure out the factors of 15. So as mentioned, 1 and itself will always be the factors of the number, right? So for 15, 1 and 15 are definitely the factors of 15 because 15 can divide by 1 and 15 can be divided by 15 without any remainder. Now, what else? Is 15 divisible by 2? Remember, what are the numbers that can divide by 2 exactly? Even numbers. Even numbers can be divided by 2 exactly. But 15, 15 is an odd number, right? 15 is an odd number, so 15 is not divisible by 2. Now let's go on. After 2, we have 3. Okay, so 3 is my next factor because 15 is divisible by 3. And in your multiplication table, 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. So 5 is also a factor. Now let's go down the number again. After 3, we have 4. Is 15 divided by 4? I mean, is 15 divisible by 4? Is 15 in your multiplication table of 4? No, right? Because we have 4, 8, 12, and 16. There's no 15 in the multiplication table of 4. So 4 is not a factor. How about 5? Yes, 5 is a factor of 15. But you notice 5 has already been repeated over here. So once I see the number repeats already, I can stop the listing. I know I have completed listing out all my factors of the number already. Okay, so here, these 4 numbers, let me just write it down. 1, 3, 5, and 15. These are the factors of 15. Okay, clear? Anyone not sure how to find the factors of a number so far? So 1, 3, 5, and 15 are the factors of 15 because they can divide 15 exactly, and there's no remainder. So 15 divided by 1, 15 divided by 3, 15 divided by 5, and 15 divided by 15. All gives me no remainder. But that's not all to the question. Why? Because there's this word product of all the factors. So now that we have gotten all the factors, we need to multiply them together. So we're going to take 1 times 3 times 5 times 15 to give us the answer. Okay, so now I know you do not have a calculator with you and you're not also allowed to use a calculator in P4. How do we do the multiplication? You can maybe start with 15, right? You can take 15 times 5 first. Okay, take this. And I get 75. Okay, so then I take 75 times 3, this one. I'll get 225. And finally, 225 times 1. So the answer is 225, 225. Okay, so yep, Jezo Ang asked, he doesn't understand how to do 15 times 15, right? Because I know some students will do it this way. They first find 3 times 15, which is 15. Then they try to get 15 times 15. But not to worry, in P4 this year, you'll start to learn how to multiply 2-digit number by 2-digit number. Okay, this is what you're going to learn for multiplication in P4. Multiplying 2-digit number by 2-digit number. But of course, I know maybe teacher Tom went through the multiplication of 2-digit by 2-digit in yesterday's lesson. But I want to leave it to when we learn about the multiplication in, I think, the next lesson. Oh no, 2 lessons down the road. We are going to do division of, multiplication of 2-digit by 2-digit. But for those who already learn it from your seniors or from your siblings, then that's good. But if you do not know how to multiply 2 digit by 2 digit, you can do it like what I did here. Right? Take 15 times 5 first, then multiply by 3. Then you wouldn't encounter multiplication of 2 by 2. Okay? All right, now let's go on to the next concept. Okay? Now the next one involves this example over here. All right, so this is also a common question that can be asked in your exam in P4 or your weighted assessment in P4, which is to find the common factors of two numbers. In this case, what are the common factors of 35 and 60? So what do I need to do for such questions here now? The word common means that it is a factor of 35. It must also be a factor of 60. So in order to solve this question, we have to do the listing of the factors of 35 and the factors of 60. Okay, let's do this very quickly, okay? So again, I know that 1 and itself are definitely the factors of the number because 35 can be divided by 1, 35 can be divided by 35. Now, can 35 be divided by 2? Yes, no. Can 35 be divided by 2? Is it an even or odd number here? Is 35 even or odd? No, right? This is an odd number. So 35 cannot be divided by 2. So let's go to the next number after 2. 3. Is 35 divisible by 3? Is 35 in your multiplication table of 3? No, I see a lot of you knows your multiplication table. No, right? So we move on. Is 35 divisible by 4? Is 35 in your multiplication table of 4? Thank you, Jovis. Thank you, Suhal. No. So 4, we skip that. 5. Yes, 5 definitely. So 5 multiplied by what gives us 35? 5 multiplied by 7 gives us 35. How about 6? Is 6 a number that can divide 35? No. 7? 7, yes. But because we have already written down 7 over here, it's repeated. So there's no need for me to write down again 7. We can stop the listing already. Okay, we can stop the listing already. So 1, 5, 7, and 35 are the factors of 35. Okay, now how about 60? Same thing. I know 1 and itself will definitely be the factors. 2, yes. 2, yes. Okay, so 2 multiplied by 30 would give me 60. So 2 and 30 are the factors of 60. How about 3? 3 multiplied by what? Leah, so well done. Yunxin as well. Me, very good. 3 multiplied by 20 gives us 60. How about 4? Is 4 a factor? Yes, Caroline, I can see your answer. Okay. Now 4 multiplied by 15. Okay, if you need to do your division, you can do so, right? 60 divided by 4. All right, so you know that, well, this would give me 15. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 15 would give me 60. How about 6? 6 multiplied by? Yes, Yunxin. Yes, Alderson. Yes, Verlin. Yes, Janelle. Good. 6 multiplied by, oops, sorry, why did I put 6 again? 6 multiplied by 10 gives us 60. Okay, how about 7, 8, 9? Are those numbers that can divide 60 exactly with no remainder? Oh, I missed out 5. Oops, sorry, why did I miss out 5? Yeah, thank you. 5. 60 is divisible by 5 as well. And this is 5 multiplied by 12. Okay, then 7, 8, 9, those are not numbers that can divide 60 exactly. Okay, so next one will be 10. But 10 is already repeated over here. So I do not need to write down 10 anymore. I can stop my listing. So the factors of 60 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and 60. Now, we are not done with this question, right? Because the question requires us to find out the common factors. So we highlight those that are common in both 35 and 60. So what do we have? 1 is common. 5 is found as well. Any others? That's all right. So the common factors of 35 and 60, so the answer to this question would just be 1 and 5. Okay? So this is the type of question that you may be asked in your exam or in your assessment, right? Finding common factors of two numbers. All right? So now, this is the next bubble question that I'm going to show you. All right? So bubble question number 4. Find the highest common factor of 42 and 56. All right, so there are two things here to take note again. I need the common factor. Not only that, it has got to be the highest. Okay, so first list down the factors of 42. List down the factors of 56. Look for the common ones. Circle the common ones first. Then after you have circled the common factors, which is the highest, which is the greatest. Okay, all right, so I'll give you 1.5 minutes and your time begins now. All right, so let's go through this question together. Now let's start with 42. Okay, so I know that once again, 1 and itself definitely are the factors of the number, right? Because 42 can be divided by 1, 42 can be divided by 42, exactly. Okay, what about 2? So I know 42 is an even number, so definitely it can be divided by 2. So all I need to do is just to do a division, right? 42 divided by 2, what do I get? 21. Okay, so 2 multiplied by 21 would give me 42. So both 2 and 21 are factors of 42. How about 3? What do you think? Is 3 a factor of 42? Oh, Alderson, you sure it's no? 42, can it be divided by 3? Yes, yes, thank you. Right, so if you do your division once again, right, 42 divided by 3. 14 is the quotient. So 3 multiplied by 14 would give me 42. So 3 and 14 are both factors of 42. How about 4? Is 42 divisible by 4? So 42 is not divisible by 4. So, well, let's move on to the next number, 5. Is 42 divisible by 5? 42 is not divisible by 5. How about 6? Is 42 in your multiplication table of 6? So 6 multiplied by 7, right? 6 multiplied by 7 would give me 42. Now, if I continue, the next number after 6, which is 7, yes, 42 is indeed divisible by 7, but I've already written it here, right? I've repeated it here already. So therefore, I know that I can stop the listing, right? So these 8 numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 14, 21, and 42 are the factors of 42. All right. Now, can you then tell me what are the factors of 56? So again, 1 and itself, definitely yes. 2, 56 divisible by 2, yes. So what do I get? Leah, so thank you. 28, right? 2 multiplied by 28 gives me 56. Is 56 divisible by 3? Right, you can do a quick division. Is 56 divisible by 3? No, it's not. How about 4? Right, 4 multiplied by 14. Right, 4 multiplied by 14 would give us 56. Okay, so 4 and 14 are both factors of 56. How about 5? How about 6? How about 7? All right, so I know in the multiplication table, 7, yes. Right, 56 is divisible by 7. Right, I'll get 8. So 7 multiplied by 8 would give me 56. Now, of course, 8 is a number that can divide 56 exactly, but I've already repeated it here. So I don't need to write it again, and I can stop my listing. So 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 14, 28, and 56 are the factors of 56. Which are the common ones? Right? Because we need to address this part. It must be a common factor. Common ones? So let me just highlight it to you, okay? 1 is common. 2 is common. Anything else common? Let me see. 7 is common. What else? Thank you. 14 is also common. Okay, so I have found what are the common factors of 42 and 56. But am I done? No, I'm not done. Right? I need to find the highest, right? Take note. Which is the highest? Out of the 4. 1, 2, 14, and 7. Yeah, 14. 14 is the greatest out of these 4. So that's why the answer to this bubble question number 4 is number 4. Okay, so let's take a look at this example question to understand what are multiples, right? Do not confuse this with factors, all right? So factors are numbers that can divide it exactly with no remainder. But multiples, on the other hand, right? You can see the word multiple sounds like what? Sounds like the word multiply, right? And also sounds like multiplication. So when you see them asking for multiples of a number, it refers to your multiplication table of the number. So let's say I want the first 3 multiples of 9. Okay, I want the first 3 multiples of 9. It means I want to know what are the first 3 products of 9. So let's say when 9 multiplied by 1, 9 multiplied by 2, 9 multiplied by 3. Okay, the first 3. So the answer to this is just simply 9, 18, and 27. Easy? It's just your multiplication table of the number. Right? So this is the first multiple of 9 because this is 9 times 1. This is the second multiple of 9 because this is 9 times 2. This is the third multiple of 9 because this is 9 times 3. Okay, Dakshan asks, isn't the answer 1, 3, and 9? This is when students confuse with the question on factors of 9. Thank you for bringing this up. Okay, now, when the question instead asks factors of 9, meaning what are the numbers, okay, numbers that divide 9 exactly without remainder? Okay, so like what we did just now, we know that 9 is 1 times 9, 3 times 3, and that's it. So the factors of 9 would be 1, 3, and 9. Can you see the difference? Right? Can you see the difference between finding factors and finding multiples of 9? And what do you also notice? The factors of 9 will always be smaller or equal to the number. Can you see all the factors? 1, 3, and 9 are smaller than 9 or equal to 9. But multiples are numbers that are greater or equal to 9. Yeah, multiples are easier, right? I see some of you say multiples are easier. Okay, so let's try out a bubble question. Not yet. Okay, never mind. I'll give you the bubbles question first. Okay. Or maybe I should do the example. Because I think you'll need this example for the bubbles question. Okay, so example here is, what is the sum of the fifth multiple of 6, fifth multiple of 8, and the 9th multiple of 4? Asking you to list down multiples anymore. So sometimes the question will require you to find a specific multiple of a number, right? Like for example, they want just the 5th multiple of 8, the 9th multiple of 4. They're not asking to list down all the multiples of 8 or all the multiples of 4. It's just a specific multiple of the number. So what is the 5th multiple of 8? Very simple. When you see this, yeah, we're just looking at the multiplication table of 8, right? And the 5th one. So easy. 40 is the answer for this. How about the 9th multiple of 4? So just need to go through your multiplication table of 4, and which is the 9th one. So it's just 4 times 9, which is 36. And since the question asks for the sum means to plus, right? So 40 plus 36 is the answer. Okay, which I see a lot of you have already given me the answer, right? Steffi, Zhang, Melody, Simon, and many of you above, right? Suhao give me 36, yes, right? Yeah, good, wonderful. Jovis as well. Okay, so now your bubble question. Okay, so this is bubble question number 6. Yes, thank you, Jermaine. All right, so I want you to find out which multiple of 5 is 65. Okay, which multiple of 5 is 65? All right, so only 30 seconds for this. Do you think you can find the answer? All right, so if you need to go through a multiplication table of 5, go ahead. But of course, there's another way to do this question. All right, so 30 seconds and your time begins now. All right, time's up. Good job. Okay, so this time around, yes, I know multiplication table is easier, right? Multiples are easier. Okay, so we know that this particular multiple of 5 will give me 65. So in other words, this multiplied by 5 must be equal to 65. So how to find this number? We just do the opposite. We'll do division, right? So you take 65, divide by 5, like this. Right, so 13 multiplied by 5 would give me 65. So 65 is the 13th multiple of 5. If not, you can always do the listing of multiples of 5, right? So you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and finally 65. Then you just count. Which of this multiple is 65? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so 65 is the 13th multiple of 5. Okay, bubble question number 7. Now list down the first 3 common multiples of 12 and 20. Can you see just now we have found out common factors? But this time round, we are looking at common multiples. Okay, so how do we do this question is, we do the listing first. Okay, list down multiples of 12 and 20. Then you circle the common ones. Okay, circle the common ones. And find out which are the common ones, the first 3. Okay. So let me see, 1.5 minutes. Okay, so your time begins now. Yes, Dong, that's listing of multiples of 12. How about listing the multiples of 20? All right, keep on listing until you find one common multiple first. So like I said, multiples of a number will just be your multiplication table. All right, so let's say for 12. This is the first multiple of 12. What's the next multiple of 12? If you know your multiplication table, it's 24, right? After that, 36. After that, 48. What's next? 60. You just keep on adding 12. Plus 12, plus 12, plus 12, plus 12. Right? So 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, and so on. Okay, then for multiples of 20, just keep adding 20, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, and so on. Okay, time is up. Let's go through this question together. Okay, so I have already helped you out by listing out some of the multiples of 12 and also some of the multiples of 20. All right, so you just go down the multiplication table of 12, right? 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, and so on. While for 20, you have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, and so on. Now from here, I can already see some similarities. Like for example, 60. Anything else that you see that's common? 120, yes, 120. But that's only two, no? I need three common ones. So of course, one way is to continue listing, but already from the first two common multiples, I can see some pattern. You notice that they come in groups of 60, right? This is one group of 60. Then this is another group of another 60. So that's why you have 120. So if you continue another one more group, hey, the next one should be 180. Yes, Jovel. Right, the next one should be 180 already. If you continue the list, right, corresponding to another 180 here, which is a common multiple as well. Right, if you do the listing in groups like that. All right, so that's why the answer to bubble question 7 is number 3, 60, 120, and 180. Now, for this bubble question, it says the third multiple of 6 has the same value as the ninth multiple of what? Blank. Okay, let me repeat. The third multiple of 6 has the same value as the ninth multiple of blank. Okay, all understand how to do this? Okay, so find out what's the third multiple of 6. And when it says same value, means same answer as what? This, the ninth multiple of blank. Okay, 2 and 1 times up. Okay, great job. All right, so let's take a look at the answer for this. So let's find out first what's the third multiple of 6. Okay, so if you go down your multiplication table of 6, we have 6, 12, and the next one is 18. 18 is the third multiple of 6. Of course, you can do it this way. 3 times 6 gives you 18. Okay, now then it says it must have the same value as the other part. So this must also give me 18. And it must be the ninth multiple of blank. So in other words, it is 9 multiplied by blank, giving you 18. This one very simple. 9 times what gives you 18? 2, right? 9 times 2 gives us 18. So therefore, the ninth multiple of 2 is 18. Right? You can always count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. The ninth multiple of 2 is 18. So that's why the answer to this question is 2. All right. Okay, so now it's 4:30 p.m. So as a summary, okay, let me just put the summary here. So today we have learned what are factors and what are multiples. So factors are numbers that divide exactly with no remainder, while multiples will just refer to your multiplication table of the number. So if let's say I ask for multiples of 2, it will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on and so forth. Okay, so note the difference between factors and multiples. And next week, we'll look at some problem sums involving factors and multiples.